What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Macadon. I'm back with another video. I know it's been a long time, but this situation has prompted me to make a video about it. And there's a lot that I want to talk about, so I had to jot down a few key things so that I can stay on topic and not going into some rant. Before I wanted to make this video, I wanted to see what was going to be the outcome for Mr. Sterling. I wanted to see if they were able to prove that it was him, on the audio. And I also wanted to see if the basketball players were going to boycott the games and if the fans were going to show up to the game. And so all that has been answered. And so that now all of that has been answered, I can now make a video. All right, so I listened to the 9-minute audio of Donald Sterling and his girlfriend, slash mistress. And from my understanding of listening to the video or the audio, whatever you want to call it, in Donald Sterling's mind, from what I'm understanding, he lives in a culture where, as he said, let me see, where is it? Where he said, people feel certain things. Hispanics feel certain things towards blacks. Blacks feel certain things towards other groups. It's been that way historically. And at that point, you really don't know what he's talking about. What do you mean people feel certain things? What certain things are you talking about? But as you listen to the audio, you get a sense of what he was going into and what his gripe was about. And he was shaming his girlfriend or telling his girlfriend that she needs to adjust to how the world views it. And how the world views it is, he believes that the world views that non-black people publicly should not be associated or be seen with black people. But in privacy, that's okay. Regardless if black people are poor or wealthy, rich, doesn't even matter. You shouldn't even associate yourself. You shouldn't be seen in public with them. You shouldn't take pictures with them at all. And as you heard in that audio, he had an issue with his girlfriend slash mistress taking pictures with a very successful man who happens to be black. He felt his girlfriend was disrespecting the world just by taking pictures with Magic Johnson, a black man. Like, wow, right? And what's also funny about this audio is that he didn't even know that his girlfriend was mixed. You know, as you hear the audio, he said, from his perspective, he felt that she was being looked at as a Latino or a white girl. And he was in disbelief when he was like, is there a benefit for you to be seen with blacks? And she was like, does that even matter? And he's like, yeah, it matters. It's not unbelievable. It's just that you have no idea on what goes on in the privacy of certain people's lives, especially those who are at the very top economically, upper echelon, so to speak. But with me, I've always kept in mind that I live in a smile in your face, talk behind your back society. Whether it's your family members, your friends, your co-workers, people outside your race, man, you just got to keep in mind that the people that smile in your face, they're going to talk bad behind your back. And Donald Sterling definitely solidified that point. And this situation also shows again why blacks always have to pull out the race card. Why black people always look at different situations and circumstances in black and white. Why blacks always bring up, oh, you're doing this because I'm black, right? Oh, you're discriminating against me because I'm black, right? Oh, you're alienating me from this because I'm black, right? The only reason why we make everything black and white, why we always pull up the race card, is because other races pull the race card also. Before you throw out your ace of spades, the person that come after you always throwing out the big joker. I mean, other races throw up the race card, especially those who have financial means. Those Like, for example, those who happen to be lobbyists, who make everything about race, who always make everything about black and white, who use these persuasive tactics to enact laws that continue to disenfranchise black people. I mean, black people, we can't help but look at certain situations and circumstances in black and white because, like I said, other races do it too. And it was referenced in that audio when the girlfriend she said to Donald, what she said? She said, people call you and tell you that I have black people on my Instagram. Like, why the hell does it matter if she has black people on her Instagram? Why is Donald Sterling's friends or associates calling Donald saying, hey, your girlfriend has black people on her Instagram? That's an issue, right? I mean, the picture that she took with Jackie Chan, that doesn't matter. Not really, but it's like he only has issue with her taking pictures with black people. So like I said, I mean, can you blame black people for looking at everything in black and white? Can you really blame black people for always throwing up the race card? Because other races always make it about black and white. It's always an issue when it has something to do with black people. He doesn't have an issue with her taking pictures with other races of people. But when it happens with blacks, it's a concern. And as he put it, it's disrespectful. I mean, when you just sit and think about that for a minute, right? I mean, just looking back, it's hilarious, man. It's hilarious. Because let's look at the situation in reverse, like white people or other non-black people. Let's say, for instance, Michael Jordan had a mistress, a girlfriend on the side, and he called his girlfriend, his mistress, talking about something. Baby, my friends and my social was telling me that they seen pictures of you with Justin Timberlake on your Instagram. What the fuck's up with that? Now think about it. Doesn't that sound hilarious? Or what if it was his wife, his white wife, and she had pictures on Instagram of her with Justin Timberlake, and he'd be like, why the hell you got pictures of Justin Timberlake on your Instagram? Doesn't that sound hilarious? Isn't that kind of funny? So just imagine how black people feel when we hear someone like Donald Sterling complaining to his girlfriend about her taking pictures with a black man, a successful black man like Magic Johnson. It's hilarious. It's sad, but it's hilarious. I want to step away from the racial topic from the racial standpoint of this situation. All right. Let's talk about the girlfriend, right? She talking about she didn't leak the audio. I don't know. Me as a man, not as a black man, but just as a man, when you have a mistress or a girlfriend, you cannot believe what the mistress or the girlfriend tells you. You can't believe what the mistress or the girlfriend tell the public. You can't believe nothing that these chicks say nowadays. These gullible, old ass, wealthy, rich ass men are so naive when it comes to these young, sexy mistresses / side pieces. I mean, Donald Sterling may not want to be associated with black people in public, but privately, I think he need to listen to some songs made by black artists when it comes to talking about these no good ass females. Like, what he needs on his iPod or whatever it is he's listening to, there's 4 songs that he need to listen to that I can name off the top of my head. He need to listen to Dr. Dre's Bitches Ain't Shit But Hoes and Tricks, Belle Biv DeVoe Poison, Kanye West Gold Digger, and Chris Brown. These girls ain't loyal. He need to take a class on these young mistresses, side pieces. You cannot trust these broads, man. You just need to fuck them and leave. Don't try to get in no relationship. I don't know why these old ass men think they can just wife up some young girl. You think come on, man. These young girls ain't loving you for you. They loving you because you got the moolah, the paper, the cheddar, the dinero. Come on, man. Oh my gosh. And his friends told him, man. Cause she even said, where's the quote? Cause she said in the audio, she like, If we ever have any issues, it's because people call you and tell you things about me that are not true. Like Sterling, you should have listened to your friends, man. Your friends know you better than yourself. If they tell you, hey man, this girl ain't for you, don't trust this chick, you should have listened to them. And because you didn't listen to them, look where you at now. Look at the situation you're in now. These girls ain't loyal. These mistresses ain't loyal. You cannot trust these gold digging chicks. These young girls are not getting with you because they like your old wrinkled up ass. They like you because of the cheddar, the money that you got in your account. Like, come on, man. I hope when I get old and I obtain a substantial amount of wealth, I won't be this naive. I'm not gonna be this naive. No, man. See, this is what happens when you are this naive and gullible towards these young females. They will set you up in a heartbeat. It's funny but sad at the same time. And I also heard someone was trying to I guess defend Donald Sterling somewhat, his actions, towards his girlfriend, by saying, hey, you shouldn't take pictures with Magic Johnson. He was, I forgot who it was, but he was like, the only reason why he had a problem with her taking pictures with Magic Johnson because, maybe he saw Magic Johnson as a rival to the LA Clippers because Magic Johnson is with the LA Lakers. So it was probably just a rivalry thing. But here's the thing though. It wasn't about a rivalry. If it was about a rivalry, he would have said so in that audio. I mean, when you're having private conversations, when you're in the privacy of your own home, nothing is off limits. You are going to say what's on your mind versus being in public. Being in public, you're not really going to say what's on your mind, but you're going to sugarcoat it, or you're going to avoid how you really feel. And Donald Sterling was in the privacy of his home, or where he was in a private setting, to where he felt freely to say whatever he wanted to say. Like saying that you shouldn't associate yourself with black people in public. He said in the privacy of his own home. So if it was about the rivalry, he would have said so. He would have said something, she said, so you have a problem with me taking a picture with Magic Johnson? Yes, because he's owner. He used to play for the he used to play with the Lakers, who is a rivalry. He's a rivalry of our team. So yeah, I have a problem. It had nothing to do with him being black. It's just that he's a rivalry of our team. But he didn't say that. So it had absolutely nothing to do with this rivalry. It had everything to do with the color of Magic Johnson's skin, or for all people who shares the skin color as he does. And you cannot be seen in public with black people. It had nothing to do with the rivalry. So that argument, you can dismantle that. And what was also a trip was that he was getting really upset when his girlfriend was telling him how much she admired Magic Johnson. She was like, she admired Magic Johnson, someone who has helped out the community, who helped out the world, who helped the people, who helped out minorities, how he's helped out a lot of people. It's like when you bring up positive accolades to someone like Donald Sterling, who happens to be black, they don't want to hear all that nonsense. Because after she said all that, Donald Sterling, he was like, why are you forcing this down my throat? I'm finished talking to you. He didn't want to hear that nonsense. You cannot speak about that kind of stuff towards Donald. Because Donald Sterling look at black people as inferior, poor. They can't help nobody but themselves. They only care about themselves. They don't care about no one else. But here, his mixed girlfriend was bringing up how she admires someone who helps a lot of people. In Donald Sterling's world, he doesn't believe such nonsense. So that's why he was like, why are you forcing this down my throat? I'm finished talking to you. Like I said, hilarious but sad at the same time. Also, I did. I tuned into Fox News yesterday, and I watching this show called The Five, and they went into a segment talking about how the NAACP was honoring Donald Sterling with the Lifetime Achievement Award even before this recent scandal. they knew of all his bigotries, prejudiced views of blacks, but yet they still honored this man at the. They were going to honor this man at the NAACP award, and the critics were talking about how can the NAACP honor a man who has these bigotry, prejudiced views towards black people? And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, well, let me think for a minute. Whenever black people bring up these racial discussions, these race-related discussions, what is the rhetoric that we always hear coming from non-black people, or from whites for that matter? 3 words: get over it. Get over it. Blacks being discriminated against, get over it. Racism is over. Get over it. And from my understanding, it looked like that's what the NAACP was doing, right? They were just doing what you white people or non-black people were saying. Get over it. That's basically what the NAACP was doing. They was getting over it. Because we've been told time and time again, these black and white issues, racism towards black people. We're always told to get over it. Just get over it. It has absolutely nothing to do with the color of your skin. It's the reason why you didn't get this job. Get over it. Your race has nothing to do with you not being able to get into this university, this college. Get over it. And basically that's what they were doing. But it's funny how these non-blacks, white people have these short-term memory. Why are the NAACP honoring this man who looks this way towards black people? Because they was getting over it. Hello, that's what you said earlier, right? You told them. You told us to get over it. I mean, in a sense, that's kind of hypocritical, right? You can't. Why are you criticizing the NAACP? Why are you criticizing a group of black people about them honoring somebody when you told us to get over it? But back to the audio. Now, there was a point of the audio that I found that was compelling. And Donald, he dodged the question as if he was playing dodgeball. And I think some of you guys know what I'm talking about. It was a point where this girl asked this very important question, and she was like, if it's white people, it's okay. If it was Larry Bird, would it have made a difference? I'm like, wow. And when she asked that question, it took him a long time for him to answer. Did it have if it was Larry Bird, would you have felt the same way? And what was his answer? Quote unquote, you're just a big fighter. I can see it. Who would want to live with a woman like you? He went into the shaming her. I'm like, wow, dude, you just want to avoid the question altogether. But then again, when you think about it, in a sense, she is a big fighter because he already answered that question. He already answered that question, which was he doesn't like for his girlfriend to be seen in public with black people. So in a sense, he already answers your question, baby girl. Yeah. If it was Larry Bird, would it made a difference? Nah, because he doesn't have a problem with you taking pictures with someone who's white. He only has an issue with you taking pictures with someone who is black. For every third person that says racism is over, there's always 6 situations that proves that it's not. People, please stop saying racism is over. Just because we have a black president doesn't prove anything, does not prove a thing that racism is over with. We see time and time again that racism is alive today. Discriminatory practices against blacks is in full effect. These voter ID laws, the disbandment of affirmative action, unfair drug laws towards black people, the stop and frisk situation. Stop and frisk wanted to crack down on street crime, but seem to turn a blind eye towards white collar crimes. Take a situation where a sorority out in the University of Alabama they now have the right to exclude someone from joining their sorority based on their skin color. Mostly blacks. This idea that whites believe the biggest threats of violent crime is a black offender, which is complete false. The biggest threats towards white victims is white offenders. There's more intra-racial crimes than interracial crimes. White on white crime outnumbers black on white crime. So racism is not over. Whites always throw up the race card. Whites always make it about black and white just as much as black people do. White people really don't care or concerned about the safety of their own race. Because if they did, they would focus more on the white on white crimes than the black on white crimes. And I'll keep saying that time and time again. So we all know that it has absolutely nothing to do with the concern of your own people. It's just the fact that you just want to continue to bash, ridicule blacks. All these white forums on the net where these white people spend 24/7 of their day sounding like broken ass records, posting about what blacks aren't doing, what they need to be doing, these negative images of blacks. Please, people, stop sitting up here. Coons also, stop sitting up here talking about racism is over. No, it's not. It's live and it's still kicking. Like I said, this situation definitely shows that racism is still alive today. People's prejudice, bigotry views is still in full effect. Like I said, people's smiling face talk bad behind your back, as we just saw. Tariq Nasheed mentioned this about how Jim Crow 2.2 is approaching. Yeah, it's definitely approaching, all right. Especially when you have billionaires like Donald Sterling who have these prejudice, bigotry views towards black people. Yeah, Jim Crow 2.2 will happen. The question that I would like to throw out to black people is that what is the tactic, what is the move, what is the play that black people will make or will have to implement to keep Jim Crow 2.2 from happening? Because like I say, every week we keep seeing how it's slowly approaching. I mean, for starters, we like Tariq Nasheed definitely pointed this out, but we got to recognize who the coons are. The coons have definitely been unleashed in the media. The coon train is here. You have white pundits who want to throw out all these smoke screens to deter us from the real issues, like Bill O'Reilly and Fox News, for example, or with the Trayvon Martin situation, the George Zimmerman situation. Black folks were trying to go into the meat of the issue, but here comes Bill O'Reilly trying to take us to another lane. Like metaphorically, he jumped on the new highway and everybody followed his ass, including black people. We gotta recognize the smoke screens, people. Patriarchy needs to be in full effect in the black community, and black feminists need to shut the fuck up. I'm sorry. I know it's very harsh for me to say that, but you need to. Patriarchy needs to be in full effect in the black community. If not, we are going to continue to lose. Black people need to know how to manage their money and stop tricking their money off. I'm so sick and tired of hearing about these rappers throwing 6-7 figures in the strip clubs. I'm tired of hearing about pro black athletes or successful musical artists getting hit up with child support. You can't build shit with black men whose priorities are on BS, i.e. pussy, weed, and alcohol. Or want to become the next cocaine cowboy, talking about, I got that work from Pablo. Building a trap house, selling that white girl. Like, man, come on, black people. Get your mind on something that's more important. Seriously. And I've heard that Donald Sterling was going to try to fight this to try to be an owner of the LA Clippers, but he really doesn't. He needs to go ahead and relinquish that power. Because someone with his views do not need to be owner of a company that employs a numerous amount of black people. Donald Sterling has this slave owner mentality, make money off of blacks while, disenfranchising them and looking at them as second-class citizens or an inferior race. He doesn't want to be seen in public with them, but he wants to make money off of them. That's that slave owner's mentality, and we don't need that. They definitely need to find some way to get rid of this dude. He just needs to go. He's too old. He needs to go ahead and relinquish that power because he doesn't have that much time left. And I know that's a very harsh thing to say, but he doesn't have that much time left, so he needs to go ahead and let somebody else own that franchise. But not only that, we need to put more focus on the young people and not these old morons like Donald Sterling. The young generation of millennials are the most inclusive people in this country, and the focus should be on them because they're going to end up being the future when it comes to running this country. Black people, we need to get on the ball. We need to get our priorities in order and stop and quit having your priorities set on bullshit like pussy, weed, and alcohol, as I said before. We need to quit being blind towards racism, prejudice, bigotry that's directed towards us 24/7. We need to quit letting these white pundits trying to deter us from the main topics that we need to address and try to rectify. And men in general need to stop being gullible towards a pretty face, a big button, and a smile. Because when you don't, you get put in a situation as Donald Sterling. So that's all the time I have, man. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. That's my views. That's my perspective on the situation. It's Macadon. Until next time, I'm gone.